I think you finished that sentence just before. You gotta give it the 5 seconds, and that's when the stream happens. Speaking of which, hello everybody. How's it going? And welcome to another episode of Vampire the Masquerade. Now you might be thinking to yourself, hey guys, didn't you do Vampire last week? And the answer is yes. Because I completely fucked up and botched the schedule like 2 weeks ago, and everything's fucked right now. So after this week, it should be back on track. I think next week is Tom's video game stream. But for now, Vampire. And before we get into that, ladies and gentlemen, now, if you've been a member of our community for any length of time, you know that we love absolutely every one of you, but there are a few that go above and beyond that we owe a little bit extra of a thank you to, and today we welcome a brand new patron into the fold, Damon Clocks. Or it could just be Damon Clock. They put it with an apostrophe S, so I have to assume that's deliberate. But either way, Damon, thank you. We appreciate you. You are amazing, and we hope to make every cent of that worthwhile for you.
We appreciate your elven patronage.
And
Arigato gomenasai.
if we ever fail you, Adam will commit seppuku.
But I just come back to life? Because it won't let me. It's getting there.
God won't let me die.
Yeah.
All right, I get the music started for Yusuf, somebody recap the events of last week's episode.
Adam.
Adam wasn't even awake for half of it.
What happened last week was we're trying to get shit together in the LA Free States because it's just pure anarchy because there's no control and everybody's being a bunch of buttholes. So we decided to get a rant together and we were like, please, for the love of God, let's elect some kind of leader to give us some minimal amount of guidance. And McNeil told us to shove it. We tried to put it to a vote. And Anarchs of LA, as represented by the chat, decided to vote a Malkavian who thinks he's Dracula to lead LA instead. And so
He's not Dracula?
our coterie, still trying to solve the problem of there being too many crazy neonates, set up a game of nines in which I had a bunch of werewolves ambush us on purpose, of course. We got away. Except Xavier was just edging death as hard as he could.
And he decided to kill Adam's character.
You did?
Yeah.
And that's where we left was, me using the ghost of Jack Parsons to possess Jabril Jones to save his life. And here we are.
That is a joke. Carlo, you're still alive.
Or am I? Well, I'm not a vampire, but I guess I'm undead.
Okay, yes.
So that is where we return to this elongated clusterfuck. The coterie is now fleeing at top speed through the California desert back to LA as unbelievable bloodshed and a storm of claws and fangs is left in your wake. And I give it to the coterie. What happens now? You are indeed Tao Quinn. Welcome.
I'll turn to Jabril's body and I'll be like, well, Jack, I definitely owe you one. I will be making sure the IRS gets a hold of a certain somebody's accounting. I don't know if you want to give my friend his body back there or if you have something to say.
No, I think my job here is done, Mark, but I did want to tell you I looked into some things for you.
Do tell.
What was it? Remind me, what was that thing you asked me to look into again for you? Something to do with the Shadowlands and the people who died to vampires, and if they knew them. Seems like most of them were random accidents, just plucked off the street. A lot of them didn't even know it was vampires, Mark. But if you put two and two together, it's not terribly hard to figure out. It's not rocket science.
It sure as hell isn't rocket science, and it sure as hell isn't stocks and finances. But that's good to know. Although that doesn't make my job sorting the city out any easier.
Well, I guess if that's all, Mark, I'll be heading back down to the dark place until you need me. Friend's kind of angry. He's a little hard to get a handle on.
Oh, that would be the beast, I say. Our kind tends to have this kind of monster inside of us that likes to peek out. It's almost kind of like an animalistic nature we try to get a hold of. Some of us better than others.
Funny you should say that. I might know a thing or two about that myself lately. Anyway, I will leave you folks to your night. I'll see you around, Mark. And with that, Jabril, I'd like you to make another frenzy roll for me, please.
Oh, you have a voice in your head as well.
Just looking around, does everybody have one of those?
What was it? Self-control, right?
Yeah. Self-control, let's call this one a 5.
Or rather, instinct. I don't have self-control. That is 4 successes.
4 successes. Okay. So, you pop back into consciousness like a light switch being flicked on. The last thing you remember is ceding control of yourself to somebody who said he knew Mark. While certain death in the form of 9-foot-tall Krynos monsters rose up on all sides of you. Now, you're in Mark's car, your adrenaline, or whatever your undead equivalent is still hammering in your body. Your hackles are up, your fangs are out, you're ready to go, and there's nowhere to put that energy, and nobody's face to put it into.
Okay. Nah. Do I find someone's face to put it into?
That's entirely up to you. What do you do?
You
If
find
want.
Carlo.
He just jumps into the other car. Carlo just riding behind. Jabril comes out the back window.
You could always fire stake you. Just be like, Byrick, stake me, bro.
Bruh.
With your instinct roll, though, I will say that your frenzy is officially done unless you wished for it to continue.
Nah.
If you think that might be more narratively interesting.
Nah, it would just cause complications. So.
Well, that's why it's narratively interesting, isn't it? Von
All right,
Morrison
guys.
of WoW just subscribed. Von Morrison, you absolute wonderful person, you. Boom! High five right there. You are amazing, and we appreciate you.
I remember listening to Van Morrison.
I tip my sour to you, sir.
I would, but I ran out.
I've got a Circle K cherry Coke.
Alright, well. I'll look around and say, gentlemen. How did the night go?
Well, you should-
You're covered in blood, by the way, and probably dripping on Mark's upholstery.
Probably.
But it's wolf blood, not his blood.
It'd be like, Jabril, if I knew you had the money, I'd make you pay for the detail on this vehicle, but I know you don't. You really screwed the pooch on this one. You just went ham into those werewolves.
Apologies.
I'm not sure what that's going to do for my relationship with them, but I can only imagine it's going to strain it.
I will prepare a gift basket for them. Are they fond of fruits and incense?
I think the only thing that calms them down is mass death.
Ah. Then perhaps Bayer could be better suited.
And rawhide.
Throw some rawhide at them. Like some
Some
big old
jerky?
pups.
It's probably all bone, the turkey legs.
By the way, Tao, I've been meaning to ask, how are you feeling? You were a little under the weather last time we spoke, weren't you?
Did you have the Rona?
Go ahead and continue. Glad to hear it, buddy. I sincerely mean that. Very, very, very good. Welcome back to health.
Did
Welcome
Jabril,
back to the land of the struggling.
to Jabril, I'll say, well, I suppose all I can say is I'm glad you're not dead. Hopefully that'll do something to thin the herd out a little bit, although...
Could Yusuf give you the cliff notes? I mean, he is by far and away the most qualified to catch you up. I think it would be entertaining. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off. Go ahead.
That's okay. We may still have to manually thin the herd out a little bit. I'm not sure. This was enough. About how many people did we see there?
What did I say? Somewhere maybe about 100?
Yeah.
Could I get a good estimate about how many I think probably died, judging from the amount of carnage I saw? Like, using my mathematical mind, could I just calculate a quick percentage?
Seems like one
What, the
werewolf you
vampires in
kill.
Los
This one-
Angeles?
No, about how many of the people at that Game of Nines was I successfully able to have murdered?
Well, you
Okay.
figure one werewolf can probably take around 3 neonates on average.
Yeah, but more than likely they more than likely fled.
This is true.
I'm just-
However, werewolves are faster.
And they're good hunters.
Yeah. Tell them they get double stats.
Yeah, but I mean they only have 2 hands.
This is true. But as somebody who has confirmed kills as a werewolf, pretty easy to get another.
The best you're going to be able to get in the absolute chaos that ensued is a rough estimate. And you probably think like 50 to 75 easy.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
How many was it by my hand?
That's actually a good point. Thank you very
Oh, yeah.
much for the bits, Raven. We appreciate it. By your hand, you know what? You probably culled a good 10% of the fight just by yourself.
Because, you know, that explosion had to do something with the fire.
I actually forgot about the explosion. I just remembered the fucking Lottie.
Well, yeah. The body, plus the explosion.
The explosion from the
Now, on
gun,
the
yeah.
negative side, I took out a pretty beefy werewolf.
And I lost my gun.
Don't you know what happens when you kill one of the older werewolves in a wolf pack? The wolf
No.
pack permanently loses the knowledge of that wolf. Some wolves become incapable of replicating certain hunting tactics due to the loss of their male or female alpha.
I don't know if he was the head honcho. I mean, he's probably up there, but like, it'd be super shitty if I just killed the Karen leader.
That would be funny as hell.
It's like, oh yeah, you killed the head of our fucking tribe. Like, oh, oof.
You actually killed the head of the Utena.
Oh, I'd feel so bad. Like, Wendigo, like, yeah, whatever, fuck him. But like, Lieutenant, but oh,
I mean, that would explain how you took him, because I think a Wendigo would give you a harder time.
oh yeah, absolutely.
It's just Marcus doing some quick math. He's like, the werewolves hopefully took about 50%. Looks over at Bayek, probably another good 10%. I'm sure Jabril killed at least 1 or 2.
If I was killing, I don't know. I went in and I killed people.
Carlo Martino probably at least cried 1 to death.
I really tried not to kill Carlo, but I don't know how many fucking get out of jail free cards you got left, my dude.
But
You're lucky there is other fucking enemies around.
the only enemy is myself.
They're blowing any werewolves. I don't know. Have you? Maybe soon, one day, Carlo Martino will be able to get a hot red rocket.
Is it a carb or is it not?
I say, well, Bayek, you don't particularly claim a large stake in this whole matter of politics, but what do you all think our next move should be?
Well,
Perhaps
Bless you.
Salute.
Perhaps to speak to McNeil. Following this carnage, he's sure they have something to say.
I mean,
I can-
theoretically, you could spin it to say that this was a result of his natural selection.
I suppose that is the answer he'd likely come up with.
You let me suffer with Carlo forever, Von Morrison.
I am good human mercy man.
I'll say perhaps if we want to stake a better claim within the city, perhaps we should merge our assets, so to speak. We can't control the whole city, but perhaps if we staked out a bit of territory for ourselves. I understand you're not exactly fond of group cooperation, Bayek, but it would be nice to have an area that the neonates and the other rabble know not to mess with.
Ah, yes. Like the feudal lords of old.
I think I will politely decline.
Understandable, although I thought perhaps you would enjoy a good culling of the area.
I'll call as many come my way.
Thinking about where our havens are, if we were to actually try to establish domain, where do you all think would be, both in character and out of character, what would be the best area to start establishing a domain to better start controlling the city, at least under our control?
Good question.
I don't think Steak and Shake's here in California yet, Adam.
Now, I still have the original campaign map from Rise Chapter 1. And I have to get a more updated one for the 50s. But your havens are kind of scattershot across the city, unfortunately.
Oh, you.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing.
That's true.
That means we can, each of us,
Take over the whole city.
start setting up some kind of power structure in our areas.
Some better than others.
Some better than others. Can't imagine who.
Well, I think everybody's
Is the city nicely cut into certain districts that we can address? Or do we just say, like, this area?
So, right now, it's basically open gang warfare. You control what you can take and hold.
So obviously we have our little buildings that we own. Byrick has the library. I have my Hollywood Hills estate. Where's your haven established, Xavier?
I don't remember. I think I asked for a beach-ish area.
Are you
Check
establishing shit on, what is it, the Santa Teresa? Or Santa Monica?
Santa Monica.
That's the.
I don't remember, it's been so long. But that
You
area.
purposefully placed your haven where the future Asylum Club is going to be? Let's see those Vorman sisters established here now. I'll tell my driver to pull over to try to let Carlo Martino catch up to us.
He's probably in your rear view at the moment. I don't think one typically sticks around when there's werewolves afoot.
Well, once we're at like a safe distance from the werewolves, I'm going to hail Carlo to pull over.
Okay. Carlo, I will let you decide if you understand what he wants you to do.
Oh yeah, 25 Phantom is fucking huge, Yusuf. I love this car. So yeah, Adam, you see Xanth's hand hailing you to pull over in the window. Out of the window.
I'll pull up behind him and step into the car. You know why I pulled you over? You were fighting some werewolves and you.
Do you know why I pulled you over? You're gonna have to let me suck your cock if you want me to let you go.
Why, Xavier?
Why? You know why, Adam?
I kind of assumed it was, but that's up to him.
You assumed what?
That Jabril set up his spiritual enlightenment center in downtown LA.
Okay. Then that's
Apparently, there is a real-life Zoroastrian temple in Los Angeles, which is cool.
Well,
Yeah, for all three of them.
Basically.
The one true
Then-
religion from the Middle East.
I mean, honestly, given how much all of the other religions cribbed from it, I would be inclined to say yeah. If
pretty dope religion. I'm just sad that it's killing itself. Because you can leave the faith, but you can't join it.
You got to be born, Xavier.
Yep.
just reincarnate yourself.
So do you pull over, Adam?
Yeah, pull over.
Once we pull over, I can say, Carlo, where the hell do you live?
In a shack, pretty much. Shack of a hotel.
But where in the city, damn it?
I thought you already knew.
Carlo, you know goddamn well I don't remember where you live.
It's just like where do I live, Trace?
I had assumed you lived in a shitty apartment downtown also, but
Yeah.
I mean,
now they have let you back into the Giovanni mansion, at least tentatively. So it's entirely possible you could have moved to be closer to your family.
the dumpster behind it.
In the dumpster.
And the Giovanni's Italian restaurant front that they use to funnel money. I'd like to there's a video that you can find of an artist who actually built a tiny home inside of a dumpster in New York. And I like to imagine that's almost exactly what Carlo Martino's haven is.
they call him the Spaghetti Nosferatu.
It's actually a tiny home inside of a dumpster. There's a little couch and a TV and everything in there.
Is it painted to look different? Because I have to imagine that guy has to wake up every so often and just his whole house is getting lifted by a truck.
It's a secret base from Pokemon.
Ah,
Yeah, I think he has it in an area where it doesn't typically, they don't pick up the trash there. But he says people have tried to open his home to throw trash into it, though.
Oh,
Hey, I'm taking a shower here, guys.
No, he has a shower on the outside because the dumpster's so small on the inside. So he has a solar shower set up on the outside. But you're a vampire. You don't typically need to shower on average, I don't think. You don't sweat. You'll pick up smell, probably.
No, we smell like death, probably, yeah. Or do we smell like death? I don't know.
well, the Giovanni hang out around corpses all day. It stands to reason.
Yeah.
But you don't rot, no.
I'm glad we're having a moment, Von Morrison. I was like, Carlo, are you going to move into the Giovanni mansion, or are you going to help us set up a domain in the city?
Yes to both.
Yes to both.
Because I can manipulate you either way. I'd prefer to know where my resources are going.
How refreshingly honest of you. It's like, I'm gonna venture you, but like, from where?
Which position would be easier, Mr. Zantz?
Oh,
Can
what
I
do
get
you want to hear from me, Mr. Zantz?
another?
You would serve us and whatever interest we have if you were back inside the Giovanni mansion. Hence why I'm willing to help you with your looking through those financial records. But Byrick here isn't particularly inclined to join us in this joint endeavor, but that's his decision. Jabril, if we were to stake out a territory, where do you think we should look?
Well,
You could always move your center to the Hollywood Hills. Plenty of rich dilettantes willing to give themselves to strange Eastern religions that they don't fully understand.
unfortunately, I'm beholden to my master and his agenda. But I'm sure your two plans line up for now. He seeks a similar solution and has already made headway in establishing himself as someone that helps in the neighborhood.
How bad have things been in the Hollywood Hills? As in vampire attacks? Have things been relatively safe?
In the
They're
hills?
1%.
Yes, in the hills where I live.
Yeah, only because there's not a lot of vampires in the hills anymore ever since the cam got kicked out. I think McNeil is the only other person that lives anywhere in your vicinity. Maybe Fortier, but Fortier lives more towards the Hollywood area.
But the Dracula guy.
More Hollywood list hill.
So I could absolutely...
Actually, Fortier probably would live by you too. So
Your neighbors.
probably not to that extent, but you're in the general vicinity. Other than that, and the vampires that Fortier has embraced himself, not a lot. It's on the down low. It's the nice part of town.
So what exactly would I have to do to either lay claim to the Hollywood Hills under my name or Fortier's name?
Technically, Fortier already lays claim. Like I said, gang warfare, you control what you can take and hold, and he's got enough fingers and enough pies to, like, hold that down under him. There are, like, domains being carved out. Fortier controls the Hollywood area right now. Salvador Garcia controls El Hermandad in Chinatown. And McNeil... Huh?
I said that won't last forever.
And McNeil, more or less just by dint of cult of personality, controls downtown, even though he tries very hard not to, because he actively does not want to be in a leadership role. Downtown is effectively his. Everywhere else in Los Angeles is currently up for grabs.
So he must be usurped.
Ooh, I mean, we can either claim downtown as our own, or we could try to carve out in one of the lesser known areas that have yet to be claimed. Although I'd prefer not to metagame it, but we do know some of those areas will eventually be claimed by other vampires. I thought I had the sheet here. So I'd say for now we need to figure out exactly what part of LA we're going to claim as our own to kind of stake out our territory. Also, we need a bitchin' name.
Again, my master's already making headway. I don't know if you want to jump in on that, or if you want to start doing your own thing. I can help with that.
LaCroix of the LaCroix Foundation.
That's funny. I got it. That's funny.
I will not let that son of a bitch lay claim to where I want to go.
We will have no chodes here. That's going to be rule number 1.
Claim Compton. I don't know if I have enough street cred to claim Compton. The Calendar Coterie.
The Colander Coterie.
Oh, Calendar?
Cauliflower Coterie.
But Jabril, you are willing to help me carve out some order in the city, should I need some physical assistance, yes?
Of course.
Martino, are you also willing to help me in this endeavor?
Is it another gun? But yeah.
Oh.
Well, Mr. Zantz, I'm willing to see this through to the end to see how far your gambit will go, but I want no part of the leadership.
That suits me just fine. I don't exactly want to lead anything, I just want to impose at least a modicum of order. Enough that we stop getting firebombed and broken into. Byrick is Baron of Compton.
Not kind of like McNeil. Just like, I didn't want this, but people were just rally around me. But they bring me books, so it's okay.
It's like I walked through Compton one time and everybody was so scared. They're like, "He can have it. It's his." Please, Byrick, don't shoot me.
Hands up, don't shoot.
Byrick shoots him anyway just to keep him honest. Baron of Inglewood.
Just take all the future with soon-to-be gangster places, become the barons of those places. Well, I suppose for now we go to our own plans. I was going to... Martino, when do you plan on having Mr. Jones break into your mansion?
I guess whenever he's filled up with blood again, because I don't want him to lose control in there.
Oh yeah, I'm a thirsty boy. Well, actually, no, I got some blood back from him. And I'll be getting some more as the night goes on.
So tomorrow, maybe?
So, what time is it so far?
Byrick, the borderless Baron.
I think we did the Game of Nines rather early, so around like 10 p.m. So let's say it's currently around. You got there 15 minutes for the werewolf attack. We'll say it's probably about 10:30, maybe 11 by the time you get back to the city.
You know,
I'm gonna go
Carlo,
ahead and
throw his
drop off
weight
my
around
three
10
members.
bloods.
I can't hear you. What was that?
Good talk.
Josh, I think we might have lost Josh.
Can you hear me at all?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay.
I was saying I was going to drop off my coteries in LA at their respective havens and then probably call upon Dracula.
Okay.
I call upon you, Dracula.
That is something you can do. However, I'm not convinced that Dracula owns a phone. So
Oh no, I'm not literally calling him. I'm gonna go to
you're going to his
Universal
house. Okay, just making sure.
It would be funny if it was just a person playing a vampire for a movie. It wasn't even a real vampire.
Oh, as Baron of Santa Monica, Thin Blood Beach.
Like I said, you know that Carlo Martino would totally throw his weight around at Thin Bloods.
I actually have a generation. You all listen to me.
On the box here.
And like one or two do.
The other Carlo Martino of the group.
There's that one, just that one vampire in Bloodlines that you can convince to kill the president. Is one of the few
Oh, God.
vampires that bow down to Carlo Martino.
Okay, so not a problem. Carlo, what are you going to do with the rest of the evening?
Sulk.
Sulk.
I have nothing to polish. Probably go to the Giovanni mansion
Interesting.
and just see if I can find anything that before Jabril needs to go.
Okay. Jibril, what are you doing tonight?
I am going to,
Suck
I guess, report to my mentor
And go find the big suck.
give him all the details of tonight's events and our plans moving forward.
What do you think Zahid is actually planning going forward?
Again, he wants to. He doesn't like this whole chaos thing, obviously, because his home also got firebombed. Again, his main goal is peace. He doesn't like conflict, and peace is just easier for him as a person. And as far as how he goes about doing that, well, I'm not entirely sure what he would be doing.
Okay. And Byrick, how are you going to spend your evening?
Byrick wishes to peruse the city for antique stores. Not like a modern day antique store that we would know today, but an actual store that looks like it has old shit in it.
Define how old.
The ones that
Preferably within maybe 100 or 200 years.
Okay, so going back to like the 1700s.
Yes.
Interesting. We'll see what we can find. So why doesn't everybody give me an initiative roll just so we can sort of keep this on track and relatively balanced?
I got a 9.
Total?
Yes.
Ah.
That's what not combat hobos roll.
I too got a 9.
I got an 8. I mean, I guess if we add all the things, it's 18.
5 or 8.
Oh wait, I forget, do I add celerity to this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, then I got a 10.
And Carlo?
I'm looking for. I forgot to get the.
Oh my god.
Roxanne, what are you doing?
Adam, go get a thumbtack, put it on your wall.
Stick it in your computer.
Just roll it up, put it in the disk drive.
This one doesn't have a disk drive. God damn it. Roxanne, what are you doing here?
I told you about my buddy that used to work tech support back in the day. I think it was my buddy Neff. He used to take calls from these old people when computers first became like a really, really major household thing in the 90s. And people used to call in all the time and tell him, hey, this cup holder sucks. What cup holder? The cup holder that slides out of the computer. I put my cup on and it broke.
That sounds like an awful job. I would hate that.
Dude, that's what it was like working for Dish Network. The smart customers don't call in. Because they don't. Because they know goddamn well that 90% of their issues, they're going to be told how to fix in the manual that came with the thing. They're just going to have to sit online or sit on hold for half an hour to be told what's in the manual. So you constantly get these idiots and people that don't know what an input button is, and weirdly racist people. Like, every other call that I got was somebody trying to play Spot the guy from Bangladesh. Between chair and keyboard, I like that.
Now you got an 8.
8 for Carlo.
But Yusuf, if I don't have a character sheet, how are you gonna cut me down? Aha! Big brain moves.
Alright, so Jabril, you're up first.
Woohoo!
You give the night's report to Zahid. You're not quite certain what he makes of it. He seems to recline back in his chair. He seems to stare out the window and just seem to think. Ah, Jabril, so many directions the wind blows these nights. The wind can't keep blowing in all of them forever. Wouldn't you agree?
Well, I'm sure wind blowing means a storm, and after a storm it's usually calm, no?
One would hope. One would hope. I would prefer to not have to be the one to guide that storm for a change.
Well, it seems historically, there's two types of people that are brought into such things. It's the people that start them and the people that end them.
What would you do in my position, Jabril? Knowing what you know and seeing what you've seen. After all, you have a stake in this too. I'm quite curious. Perhaps I am too old, perhaps I am too far removed. When you look at this situation, what do you see?
I see children that don't know how to take care of their things. I see the older generation still playing their power games. And I see dangers constantly surrounding us that some are oblivious to.
Do you know what I see, Jabril? I've been around for a long time. I've been through many domains, many fiefdoms, and this one, it's no different. Psyche Shear, how's it going? Been a while.
Yo. We got raided.
Awesome.
Retaliate.
I thought I set up an alert for that, so I apologize that it hadn't popped up, but thank you for the raid. We appreciate you. Every other ruler promises that theirs is the new way, and Los Angeles, the first to kill their prince. I thought perhaps theirs might be, but I am unconvinced. I see the same power struggles, the same games. Only unchecked child are waiting for their comeuppance. It disturbs me. It disturbs me how cyclical history proves to be.
Well, unfortunately, I don't believe such a nature is going to be easily broken, if at all.
Then you know that unless this domain establishes some sort of leadership, it will be eaten by the Camarilla or the Sabbat. They've only to wait for it.
This is true. And I believe, as much respect as I have for Mr. McNeil, him choosing to ignore these issues is not conducive. He believes that natural selection should take its course and the weak should die. Or the stupid. And I'm not terribly opposed to this, but it is not only themselves that they are endangering.
This McNeil, the one that started all this, forgive me if I am being naive, but he doesn't seem entirely unreasonable in his way. After all, most of his clan would simply have assailed the Camarilla right away. He waited till he had legal right. There is a gruff, brutish, indeed, exterior there, but beneath that is a mind, and a mind can be reached. How a mind can be reached? Well, philosophers have spent their entire days thinking of that. Perhaps that's the puzzle that lays before us now, Jabril. Or perhaps the puzzle is whether or not to back someone stronger.
I suppose I can go try to reason with him. Though I will admit words are not my strong point. I'm not a man of words, I'm a man of action.
Sometimes action can be just as convincing, Jabril, you know that.
True. I find action to be a bit more effective. But there are some people whose words work better than weapons. Like Mr. Zantz.
Ah, yes, our kind benefactor. Do you know when the construction will be finished? It's been quite drafty.
I'm sure it will be done in a day or two, at the most.
He's the one clothing our new human servants, yes?
Yes.
Mr. Zantz may prove to be another piece in the puzzle, or perhaps another puzzle himself.
I believe he has his own ambitions. And for the time they align with our agenda.
Ooh, our connection is doing a dance right now.
Oof.
I think we're okay. I think we are okay.
We're still alive. We haven't died yet.
That's all it takes. People with their own ambitions are the most dangerous. Your sire had his own ambitions.
I don't believe many people in this world are without them.
It would amaze you to find out the opposite. So many people are like ants willing to go about their lives. The ones with ambitions are dangerous because they don't go with the flow, because they carve their own path. This Zantz may be useful. He may be also one to watch out for. Your ambitions align for now, but what happens when they do not? How deeply are you willing to be indebted to him?
Well, Such as the cyclical nature of things. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
The blood of kings is a noble and magnanimous one, but every king taxes his subjects. You do well to remember this, Jabril. In the meantime, allow me to meditate on such matters.
Very well.
I trust you have a reasonable idea of what your course of action should be.
I believe I do.
Then I leave the decision in your hands for now.
Okay. I will do my best.
He has to get back to his recalibrations.
So what's the chance that you close the door behind you and then you hear I Love Lucy start playing? Or the honeymoons?
Geez, he is neither.
Neither, Yusuf.
He's Zoroastrian.
The one true religion.
I thought Majid. And the Majid is the god.
Just Majid. Not the rest of the... Just Majid.
I just love the idea that he's like, leave me to my meditations, Jabril. You close the door and then all of a sudden, why I oughta?
Byrick, you're up next. Let's go with a...
Yeah.
Which streetwise, please?
Oof. That's a... That ain't gonna be easy.
And yes, Yusuf.
No successes.
No successes. Okay. So, you're having trouble finding exactly what you're looking for. A sort of shop that sells things that old. It's kind of a hard bargain. Let's try a different tactic. What exactly are you looking for?
I'm looking for old knowledge. Stuff that I can't find in, well, my library anymore.
And what sort of old knowledge?
Ancient rituals.
Ah.
Giovanni have all that.
Black magic.
Mitch.
What kind of magic should you be interested in?
Harry Potter magic.
Like,
literally a offshoot of La Sombra, so dark magic, literally.
Black. Because, like, you can learn, like voodoo and hoodoo. That won't be terribly helpful for you.
So I will tell you this. Your best bet, rather than an old store, might be to start poking around the museums. I believe there is a natural history museum in Los Angeles right now. And for what it's worth to you, there's also the mission, San Fernando Rey de España, which, if you remember, recently, within the last 16 years or so, became a museum and started housing artifacts from the Cristero Revolution from Mexico.
Then I will start at the mission.
Does Byrick still call Mexico New Spain?
1956, Von Morrison.
No, he calls Spain Old Mexico. Which is going to get real confusing when he has to go to New Mexico.
Like, what do you mean, New Mexico? I didn't even like the old one.
So you arrive at the mission. Mission San Fernando el Rey de España. It's still an active mission at this point. At least I believe it is. So, at this time of night, there might be a few groundskeepers or maybe some priests that haven't yet been able to sleep, but for the most part the grounds are very quiet, very peaceful. It's removed from much of the city. So the whole night is very, very placid. Very much so, especially compared to the events earlier this evening. What would you like to do?
So,
Do you have any occult?
yes, I have a lot of occult.
Can I get a perception occult roll, please?
I have a lot of that. I forget. Are we doing that thing where if we
Yes.
have more dice than
The difficulty you auto succeed, yes.
What's the diff?
Let's do it this way instead. How many dots do you have?
I succeeded.
Good enough.
I have 10.
Okay, because I wasn't necessarily looking for a specific target number. I just wanted to see how well you did.
10 dots.
You're an elder. You can start having more than 10 dots.
This is true, Tom. You can go
Yeah.
beyond.
Yeah, I have more than 5 dots in some things.
With your attunement to obtenebration and your knowledge of occult, the energy of these grounds is very different than anywhere you felt, probably besides in your own library. You can tell that the Abyss has a, shall we say, a tighter grasp in this area.
Von
Okay.
Morrison playing
Well-
some knowledge down.
Then Von Morrison has beat me. There is no Museum of Natural History, so you're in the right place for a museum. But thank you, Von Morrison. We appreciate it.
So I just went to this mission for just,
Well, no, the mission still has the museum.
Oh.
I know for a fact, because I researched it, that it started housing the Crucero artifacts in the 40s.
But the Natural History Museum is not there yet.
your. So I'm reminded of the Abyss is what you're saying.
The Abyss, Oblivion, this is the same energy that your obtenebration manifests.
So then, I will approach the front and see if it's open.
I imagine a church, a mission in the 50s probably aren't locking their doors. So sure, you can pull open the front doors. And it leads to this lovingly well-tended desert courtyard. So the greenery is sparse, but it's there. There's several cactuses glowing in clusters, sprouting flowers. There is these sort of thick shrubs and, for lack of a better term, tumbleweeds that are arranged in their corners. And directly in front of you lies the main doors of the cathedral.
And there's no other building, so I can assume that that's where they house the museum.
Would they house it on the church ground? There probably are other buildings. This is a mission, so there's probably places for the priests to sleep. Probably places where, they would tend to the homeless.
Now, does the feeling of the Abyss, is it like a proximity thing, or is it just like a blah all around?
It's sort of around you. This area's connection to the Abyss has deepened from something. Could be one of the artifacts. Could be applications of shadow magic. There could be some sort of entity here with a tie to the Abyss.
I'll investigate the cathedral first then.
Okay. You pull open the wooden double doors and you step inside, and instantly the smell of incense just baked into the place for mass after mass after mass hits you right in the face. There's a warm glow of candlelight from the candles even at this hour, as they radiate and wash off the walls, and then, of course, the large carved crucifix, the statue of Christ, hung above the altar before you. What would you like to do?
Look at the crucifix and just say, "Hello, old friend."
As he says hello back.
Well, okay, if this is a missionary, then it shouldn't be too elaborate. There should be some pews and two
Confessional booths?
well, yeah, that, and I was thinking of the general architecture.
Okay.
It should just go straight, a little outcropping bit to the left and right, and then the altar. Should be a tabernacle as well.
More than likely.
Finally, I get to use the tabernacle. It's been so many years. Wait a minute, what the hell is this in the chat?
God damn it.
You know what you need to do, X? You need to make like a stealth Twitch account and just not tell Tom that it's you. That's the only way you'll ever be able to interact again.
Well, who do you think Tel Quinn is?
And Yusuf and Von Morrison.
I'm actually all of our fucking followers. I spend a lot of time on Discord.
Xavier is actually a Malkavian. Well, I assume there's no one here.
Well, actually, as you begin to enter and greet the crucifix, the sound of footsteps echo across the tile floor. There's a young priest, maybe in his early 20s, that sort of looks and... Can I get a perception empathy as he sort of like makes eye contact with you for the first time?
I have both of those, shockingly enough.
What's your score? You can just give me the score, and I'll tell you to roll or not.
8.
8. It looks like he's trying to be very warm and welcoming, but there's a notch of fear in him, definitely. His body language is a little too rigid. His voice might crack a little bit as he says, hello, friend, welcome. What can I do for you?
You're up awfully late,
You're
Friar.
Are you up to something? I can smell your fear.
I can smell your fear.
It smells like pee-pee.
I'll count it if that's what you want, Tauquin.
Greetings, Father. There's no need to be afraid. I understand that is an unusual hour for you to receive visitors.
Not at all. God's home is open to one and all. Forgive me, there was the break-in recently, but we, well, he sort of looks you up and down. I don't suppose much people who come here to steal artifacts dress the way you do.
Right. I totally look normal. Now, you see, I have quite a background in archaeology, and I recently heard that there's been a new collection of artifacts here.
I'm not sure if I would call it new. It's been here for about 16 years or so, but yes, we
Well,
have the
I'm a bit
artifacts.
old.
We have the artifacts from the Cristero War.
Would it be possible for me to view these at the moment?
Uh,
Right now? Yeah, dude, I'm an albino. I can't go out during the day.
Why do you think I have that?
You think I dress like this to look cool?
He seems to kind of like go back and forth and bounce it around in his head. Do you have any sort of like perception that you could schmooze this guy with? Or
Perception.
I do mean any sort, so you can, or not perception, like manipulation, subterfuge. If you want to lie to him, you manipulation, intimidation. If you want to like bully him into it, or if you want to give him like a charisma, empathy to be like, hey, I'm an archaeologist, you can trust me.
Or you can use
Appearance, empathy. Tell him you're an albino.
I have manipulation, empathy, expression.
However you want to do this, you tell me how Byrick approaches the situation.
Or you can go appearance, intimidation.
And what, just approach him and tower over him?
pull the Lyndon B. Johnson.
My
Give him the
big
handshake, you lean
dick.
over him.
As I drop my pants. Now, I understand your suspicion of me, but I do... I do mean this... your collection no harm. I merely wish to study it from a academic perspective. As I mentioned, I am an archaeologist who has traveled the world.
Are you an archaeologist who traveled the world?
He was. He has not done that in a long time.
Byrick was an archaeologist when they still used dynamite for excavations.
So, you know, the fun days.
It is difficult because it is still an active crime scene, but I must tell you, I have objections to these things being locked away from the public. They are here for a reason. They are emblems of faith and the power that faith can give to people, and I do want them to be seen, but I must warn you, friend, there's another reason it might not be safe for you.
Oh?
There's vampires.
And what could pose a danger besides the law coming down upon myself?
He sort of leans in.
Yusuf, I do not have dominate. I dominate through power.
Sort of leans into you and says, La Fantasma.
A spirit.
I don't know if I believe it myself, but a few of the priests, and some well-respected ones at that, have seen the shade of an old monk roaming the area that comes out at night. He's taken an interest in the artifacts as well, and... well, you must think me crazy, sir, but there are so many things in God's earth that we don't yet understand, and I'm not rightly certain whose clutch I would be sending you into.
I've been doing this a long time.
Wake the fuck up, Adam!
Xavier, you have to call him.
Oh, wait now. Chaz woke me up.
You have to call him.
Is my phone on silent? Oh, let me see. Oh, no, I can't see. The wall's spinning.
If we ever get emotes, we have to get a
Sleeping
time
Adam. Oh my god, that's amazing. That is amazing. Adam, when we're not putting you on the spot, you should let us know if you're okay with that. Because that's pretty...
No.
I didn't hear it. I didn't.
No,
Focus.
Adam's face belongs to the channel.
Well, I mean, also, we care about Adam, and I want to make sure he's okay with, the joke, but...
As long as it's not something in the mouth, yes, I'm going to the joke.
Okay, we cannot control what they do and do not combine with the tentacle emotes, okay? Like, that's another thing entirely. But also, Adam, I want you to know, we love you. You're a good sport, and you make this channel part of what it is.
We're gonna send Adam to that Japanese mascot competition.
We might bust on you from time to time, but there's nothing but love behind it.
Yeah.
Sticky, creamy love, just all day.
It's because we're men and we talk shit to your face, but we love you.
Yeah.
So,
Not like some people.
so Tom, does Byrick or his two guns dominate in presence?
Those two guns have many different names, but yes, add that to the list.
Salvation, damnation.
They're the same kind of gun. I know.
And the Lottie is absolution.
I like to think that Byrick's old enough that, like, yes, I too am an antiquarian. It's like, you mean an archaeologist? Yes, that's what they call them these days.
No, they're... Young father. Weird sentence. As I've stated, I've been around the world. I've heard of many a tale. These superstitions do not instill fear upon me.
I'm from Canada.
I come from Canada.
Yeah, Canada.
The mystical land of Canada. A mythic place.
Where the moose run free. And the maple
The flocks of meese.
and the maple syrup flows.
From the teeth of every tree.
Except French Canada. We don't talk about that part.
You mean French Quebec? Hamburger.
Well, as I said, sir, I feel a terrible guilt keeping these things locked away where no one can see them.
You be doing you and me quite the kindness.
As a matter of fact, it's too kind.
As I start reaching for my
As you start reaching for presents.
You want a gift? You want a gift? Here's a present.
Do you want to learn how I got this tall?
He will take out a candle and a small candle holder from behind the altar and light it.
Fire!
I mean, that might be how you react. I will, once again, Byrick Ash has been through the creation rites, so I have sort of been running you as having a little bit higher resistance to that sort of thing, but if you feel like a Rot Shrek might be appropriate, we can... I was like saying, we can have that fun if you want.
No need to turn this to a bloodbath. Not yet, at least.
He nods.
Missionary level to the ground overnight.
He nods and... Follow me, please. Mark, you arrive at the Universal Studios lot. Have you brought Virginia with you this time?
I'll say
Virginia!
Virginia.
Most of the studio's dark at this time of night. There's probably only a few security guards and one manning the toll booth at the gate. High walls around the area, and past it you can see sort of the domed roof of the studios arrayed into neat rows. How would you like to approach this?
I'll just have I'll have my driver pull up to the front gate with the toll booth. And I'll be like, just tell them that a friend of Randall Grant's has come here for a late night meeting.
With your fucking Datsun bullshit, I don't even need to fucking ask you to roll for that. The guy gets on the phone for a while, jabbers something for a minute or two, and the bar gets raised.
They're like, Randall Grant will have our asses if we don't let his friends through.
Yeah.
Randy.
Randy?
Randy Sensei?
He doesn't exist yet.
But he's always gonna exist in our hearts.
So then I'm gonna tell my driver to find the old Lutz. As I kind of turn to Virginia, I'm like, Virginia, have you ever seen Dracula? Any of the old Universal horrors?
Who'd we lose?
Xavier.
It's always Xavier. Adam falls asleep and Xavier always disconnects. And Charlie's phone always goes off.
Haha! Not always. I've been better, but now I'm Jabril for some reason. Oh well, Adam, take it.
I'm falling asleep then.
And once again, Xavier is Carlo Martino.
I'm cool. I'm going to sleep then.
We should totally do that stream when someone disconnects. We actually do swap characters.
There was a way that it fixed itself, so I'm reluctant to start fucking with the cameras right now. But at the same time, I'm not sure by what mechanism that would happen. I guess I could just really quick kind of
Adam, you're the storyteller now.
Yes.
And Carlo Martino is welcome back into the Giovanni household.
With open arms and no restrictions, and
And everyone.
And people suck his dick.
for changes.
And he got a robot best friend now.
Who's actually an anime girl? See they know.
God damn it! What did I tell you? What did I...
See, translation real
Now
time.
I'm the storyteller.
Rage. Rage.
I don't know. That game wasn't great.
Rage 2, though.
That game was even worse.
Well, to comment on what Yusuf said, Mark Zantz probably read Hollywood Babylon when it came out and kind of laughed at how inaccurate it was. He's like, oh, that's nothing like how it actually happened.
Like it just stayed fucked up long enough to dare me to fix it. Long enough to be bothered by it, and that's like, haha, you fucked up. Okay.
What a lovable trickster.
Your driver does, and it doesn't take long. Well, sort of off the beaten thoroughfare. It's not far away enough to be out of tourist or tour range, I should say. You can tell they are a good bit older. The architecture, while not vastly different, has notable subtleties. Misery is now following. Thank you, Misery. We appreciate you, and welcome. The paint has yellowed a bit, and it helps that there's a great big sign on the side that says, "The Wolfman, Dracula, the Invisible Man."
Well, Virginia, I suppose this is the home of our new King of the Night.
It would certainly seem that way, wouldn't it? Bit on the nose for one of your kind, wouldn't you say?
You see, Virginia, he actually thinks he's Dracula. But I believe you're actually about to meet Bela Lugosi. His mind just may be a little cracked.
I think that's fucking Bela Lugosi.
Or just a guy playing the Bela Lugosi playing a Dracula.
It's a Bela Lugosi lookalike that a vampire thought was Bela Lugosi and embraced it. Like, holy shit, it's fucking Dracula.
I suppose I'll follow your lead then, Master. So many different experiences since I've begun working with you. Quite thrilling. Huh?
I was going to say, just remember to pay him all the proper respect due to the King of the Night.
Of course.
And with that, I am entering the old Universal Studio lots.
Well, see, that's kind of the issue. It's locked at this time of night.
Mm-hmm.
Ha 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 ha. What is a lock to a vampire?
How locked is it?
Probably. I mean, we're not talking like fucking bolted shut, but it's got a fairly standard lock meant to keep out vandals and thieves and stuff.
Like a chain lock? Like an actual padlock on the outside?
More like a lock in the doorknob.
Ah, okay.
Ha! Fiero!
I'm not gonna handle this. I'm gonna go to my car, tell my driver to get the wheel jack for the spare tire, and just have him pop the son of a bitch open.
No. The door is locked. You know what you have to do.
Drive the Phantom right through it.
It's a nice car, though. I don't know if you want to do that.
Oh, hell no. I have established in somebody else's game that this car needs to at least make it to 2007.
It can always be repaired.
Okay, why don't,
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Nah, fuck the roll. Alright. Are you sure about this, sir? This seems a little, vandalism-y.
Oh, I'm friends with one of the head producers at this company. This is okay.
Okay. He doesn't even question it. It's you. Pops the lock. The door opens with this massive pow.
And despite being a Ventru, I'm not lying.
That's your compulsion. You have to lie. You're a puka.
I was gonna say I'm a Ventru, not a damn Ravnos. Not this time.
Not a damn dirty rap nose.
The door swings open with the smell of thick dust and paint. And to your surprise, there's a little bit of light coming from the inside. Not much. But as you step into... I do? I guess I do. I've tried, man. If you're referring to what Von Morrison said, I've legitimately tried. I sent him an invite. He didn't get back to me. I'm very sad about that. There's a reason. There's a reason that there's a sixth box over there. And yes, it's a great place should Austin decide to join us. Austin! But you know what? I'll be honest. It was meant for another. As you step through the door, you see the iconic facade of Castle Dracula. The path that wends up from the gate. And there are lights on in the windows. Chaz's capacity to maintain context... I lose track of shit constantly, especially when the chat's going, and I've got like 3 or 4 different things going on in my head at all the times, but you're 100% true.
You said, Austin, I guess you scared me to wake because my heart's pumping up now.
Oh.
Please don't yell at me again.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna take some senpai.
I know, look, Yusuf, I know you're busting my balls, but you're also right. I will fully acknowledge if someone's busting my balls and is right. Yeah, there are lights on in the windows of Castle Dracula tonight.
We'll very jokingly take Virginia by the arm in a very formal manner and just kind of like step up to the gate and kind of graciously rap on the door.
Okay, there's probably that old school gargoyle door knocker on it.
It's just actually a gargoyle.
Now, as somebody comes gently rapping at your chamber door, my lord.
Dummy thick and nothing more.
The door creaks open.
Xavier, stop it.
You see him standing before you. Mr. Zantz, I had not expected to see you so soon. Please, enter of your own free will and leave something of the happiness you bring.
I hope you will not mind that I have brought one of my... I kind of look at Virginia.
Servant.
Wives with me.
'Tis natural, I suppose. I have yet to find my own, but perhaps that will change soon.
If you don't mind me asking, my lord, I thought you had 3 of them with you. Did they not come with you from the Carpathians?
Sadly, it seems that my wives did not make the trip.
That is most unfortunate, my lord. We will have to rectify that.
Tell me, have you found suitable lodgings for me yet?
Yes, I indeed have been looking. I know the real estate of the city quite well. Do you have any opinions on the matter, my liege?
I cannot say I know enough about it to be able to say one way or the other. Please, let us retire to the kitchen, he says with a wave of his hand, as a piece of plywood separates the entrance hall from the kitchen. As this is still a movie set.
I will follow him.
He sits at one end of a long table.
So right next to him.
To what do I owe the pleasure of your visit tonight?
I call upon you to let you know that I believe I can find a residence for a man of your quality in perhaps Beverly Hills. But as well as to talk about your recent ascension as the Lord of all vampires and of the night here in LA.
I know little of these hills of Beverly. You will have to explain them to me. As far as my ascension, it is only natural that I take care of my children, as I explained to you.
Yes. That is very good, my lord. This Beverly Hills, it is a place of large mansions where many of the wealthy elite of the city tend to congregate. I believe you will find yourself right at home with the upper crust of society.
Ah, yes, I have become accustomed to a certain degree of luxury, although sadly this castle is not all I remember it to be anymore.
Should you wish, we could have certainly the interior of a mansion in Beverly Hills to an exact replica of what you remember it to be.
Perhaps. Perhaps it is right that I am to become accustomed to the way of this new world.
But tell me, Lord Dracula, exactly how do you plan to take care of your children within the city? Things have become rather complicated.
Were it that I were certain, Mr. Zantz, these young ones, they throw themselves upon my doorstep. With every passing night, I be honest, when you knocked upon my door, I thought it was them or sycophants before me. I have little time nor use for them, but my responsibility being what it is, How does one instill order when there is no order?
That is exactly the problem I come to put before you, Lord Dracula. Or would
Executioner, you're asking for a lot. I'll tell you that right now. Get the fuck up, Adam. We've already had to jumpstart him twice. By the way, how you doing?
Getting everybody involved. Okay, I'll drink some more water.
Adam can't go to sleep if he has to pee the whole time.
That is not true. You just pee in bed.
There was a joke about that. I forgot.
Like a true alpha male, Adam. Just pee right where you are.
On the laptop. It's on my left.
Just straight into the camera.
You wonder why it works, people? Bad.
As I say, would you prefer Lord Dracula or perhaps Vlad Tepish?
I am Dracula. The Vlad Tepes is a
I always wanted those tattoos.
sensitive subject, especially in Romania. They don't actually like the Dracula thing. It's a bit of a besmirchment of a national hero. Long story, but please, Dracula.
Well then, Dracula. Lord Dracula. I believe perhaps it would be most prudent to protect yourself from some of the more egregious members of the youth of our kind. You see, recently, at least amongst one of my coterie, some of the younger ones have attempted to usurp the lifeblood power of their elders.
I don't fear them. I have my guards.
I do not doubt your competencies and your abilities, but I believe when it comes to one of your power and stature, perhaps it is best to rule from the shadows.
No, I literally have my guards. You passed them on the way in. I've made them my blood servants a few nights ago. Not quite as competent as the people that served me before, but they're beggars' choosers.
I'm just like, oh my god, what has he done?
But I'm sorry, you were saying?
I'm saying that perhaps it would behoove somebody of your abilities better to rule from the shadows, as is befitting of the Lord of the Night. We do not want you to have to constantly deal with the riffraff of the city throwing themselves at your door as you said they have been.
And you would suggest, Mr. Zantz?
I would suggest that you not necessarily cede the power to McNeil, but that perhaps you suggest to some of the more sycophantic and, let's be honest, suck-ups of the youth to push them towards electing McNeil to the, well, let's say to the facade of leadership to the city while you rule behind him.
Ha! McNeil. A strong warrior, but little else. You heard him himself. He wishes no leadership.
It is true, but during the dark times before you came to us, Lord Dracula, he was the one that seemed to rally the kindred of the city.
And were I to do this, this would behoove me how?
Well, you would still have control of the city as you are the properly elected king of the night. However, it would put more of the unnecessary burdens of ruling the city upon the puppet king of McNeil. That way you can perhaps better execute your own machinations. After all, I'm sure you have grand plans for your new life in this city.
He reclines in his chair, presses his fingers together.
You need time to properly fit out the mansion I'll be procuring for you, as well as finding your new wives, and perhaps you will also be rebuilding your village of servants. Your bats and your wolves need to be ghouled once again. It's hard to find wolves out here in the desert, I can assure you. At least that the wolves out here in California aren't the same as the ones in the Carpathians.
As Dracula considers the words of Mark Zantz, I have to get to Carlo Martino before he falls the fuck asleep.
Too late. Yes.
Thank you, Yusuf. I do my best.
Dude, I've said it 100 times. Mark Zantz is just a joy to fucking ST for. Like, you do the Ventru thing really well.
He's used to making, or building cults.
Those are different systems.
Carlo, you arrive at the Giovanni mansion. Are greeted with disdain by the door girls as your car is taken and you are let inside. It's quiet. No visitors tonight. No extended family. Just the main household attending to their duties, those that are still here.
When I just hit the Mauricio's room and see if he's there.
Why don't you roll me percentile dice, please?
You can give me a sec.
Just be like, hey, Mauricio, can I be the boss?
Let me sit in the chair just once, Mauricio. Hey, old time's sake.
Mauricio, please.
63, yeah.
63. You approach Mauricio's office. There is indeed a light coming out from under the door. Josh went up to do stuff. He'll be back soon.
Is there... Oh, I guess knock on the door.
Who's there?
Carlo.
Yeah, come on in.
The spaghetti boy himself.
Can I open the door, close it? Yeah, Mauricio, we family, right? I was just wondering if, what has you been, like, learn from mistakes, I fucked up the numbers a long time ago. I was wondering if I take a look at them.
Carlo, give me manipulation subterfuge.
You know that one time I fucked up? I want to see why I fucked up.
I have manipulation. No, sir.
It's a Mitzi, yes, the Sabat Ventru.
I would kind of argue that the Sabat Venture were the Lasombra, but, well, Zamisi are literally the Dracula, so...
You got 3 successes?
3 successes.
Yes.
Carlo, sit down.
Sit on the floor. This guy's applesauce.
In the chair, Carlo. You're not an animal. You're better than this. Take a seat.
Yeah, no, sit in the chair then.
Carlo, how long's it been since you got kicked out of the mansion? 10, 12 years?
A lifetime ago.
Good answer. In that whole time, the closest that you've ever come to talking to me about finances is the time you asked me for hooker money. So, excuse me if I'm a little curious, why the sudden interest?
I just want to see where I went wrong so I don't make the same mistake again.
You don't work in finances anymore, Carlo, and why would that matter?
I just curious.
The same mistake again.
Just want to see where I fucked up. I'm just trying to, I guess.
I'm trying to unfuck my life.
Trying to unfuck my life, cause.
Carlo.
Trying to be an overall good Giovanni, you know what I mean?
Carlo, we're family, right? We're family?
Yes. Yes.
Let me tell you, as family, you're a terrible fucking liar. You got still gots on the tongue. You've been talking to Angelina, haven't you?
She's been talking to me. I just listened. You see me? she talks a lot, you know.
Carlo, why don't you try being honest with your family for a change? What'd she say to you?
She
I'm
told me
beyond.
if I did this, I'd have to. I can stop sucking dick.
Or do it as less. Do it as a hobby. It's kidding.
Adam doesn't wear the joke.
That's the way. All right, I'll tell you, but I guess because I trust you. I trust you because you're the boss of the family. I just want to don't let anybody else.
He puts up a finger to stop you. I'm not the boss. Speaking of which, I don't think we should have this conversation here. The walls, the ceiling fan, and half the vases have ears. You know what I mean?
Literal.
Yes, you're with the mob and therefore you're subject to bugging.
Yeah. But the U.S. government.
We haven't gotten to Orpheus yet. The U.S. government isn't employing Ghost yet.
All right, listen to me. Don't look. On that second shelf there, on the other side of the door. Third shelf down. That binder, the red one. I want you to take it. I want you to... Don't look at it. You meet me in the car garage in about 15 minutes, okay?
Okay.
I gotta pee. And he fixes you with the stare. 15 minutes.
Right.
He gets up from his
And
chair.
you're just like, wait a minute. Vampires don't pee?
He lied to me. It's kidding.
And he will exit the office. And you can slowly hear his footsteps recede down the stairs.
Right. We'll take a 5-minute detour and then find my way to the garage.
I look around for 5 minutes and then I get lost.
Yeah, I'm like, oh shit. Where
Yeah.
am I?
Werewolf territory again.
No.
Ah, shit.
As you get to the garage, there's a very, very fancy Rolls Royce. Pre-war. The engine's already running. There's a driver dutifully standing by the seat. Or by the driver's side, rather. The back's open and Mauricio sort of gestures beside him. Get in the car, Carlo. We're going for a drive.
Oh, you gonna take care of me.
All right. I'll go in the car.
I was gonna say, with the way we run it, vampires in LA are gonna have more classic cars than frickin' Cuba.
Oh, man. Oh, dude, do they have a fucking what was his name? Mussolini. Do they have does the Giovanni family have his 1939 Alfa Romeo? Because that'd be hella money.
One of the Anziani probably would. The car slowly begins to pull out of the garage, tracing its way down the road to the front gate, and Mauricio just sort of sits there silently.
Whenever you're ready to talk, I'll listen.
Puts up a finger.
I have to pee again.
The gate rolls aside. The Rolls Royce rolls onto the main road. He looks over his shoulder as the gate closes behind them. And only when the Giovanni mansion is a speck in the distance. So what did Angelina say to you while you just listened?
She said she loves me.
They said we can't be together though, because that's we're family.
Because that's what the family expects of us.
God, your family's gross.
She was like, incest isn't a turn on when everybody expects it of you.
Well, she said, well, one thing was don't cry, and she said, also, like the finances from the past the fuck up that I did wasn't actually a fuck up on my end.
Ooh. Adam, you're giving some very sensitive information to the person above you.
Mauricio sort of smiles. Where's the book?
All right.
I left it in the restroom. I was just getting it.
As you're like, I left it on top of the car as you look behind all the books fluttering in the distance.
Bruh.
Where's the book?
Hey, the audio cut out? Did you hear me?
Oh. He asks you where the book is.
Okay. Pull it out from under my... But where I usually hold the gun? The Tommy gun there. In my jacket?
It's like tucked into a holster.
Gun.
Yeah.
Driver, pull over. Pulls over right next to a street lamp so that light floods the back seat. Oh, when was it, Carlo? July 1944. Flips through the book.
Oh shit.
Look at it, Carlo. What do you tell him? What does it say? What do you see?
Dates, numbers.
Give me intelligence academics. Diff 6.
Your finances, not academics.
Yep, I don't have it. I'm intelligence too. That's all I got.
Is finances something seperate?
Yeah.
Only
Okay.
vampires get finance.
Then I am a shitty ST and I apologize. Go ahead and roll finances instead, Carlo.
Doesn't have that either.
I do.
No, you should have a couple dots, right?
Yeah.
Zant's taught
He
him
doesn't
about
just
money.
have-
I
He
got two
doesn't just
successes.
dodge
Wait,
finance.
I forgot. Yeah, I got two successes.
You got Xant's dots and finances.
2
Yeah.
successes.
They
So you-
count for finance and subterfuge.
So as you're going through these old records, they're bank records, spreadsheets. And as you're comparing some of the older ones, some of the ones about a week-ish before your embrace,
Ooh.
you notice that 2 of the bank numbers have been switched. Driver, keep driving. Car rolls away again. First of all, I want you to know it wasn't my idea. Yeah, you were set up. The Anziani called it in. Had us do it. So, we embrace some schmuck from one of the no-name families, sell him up the river to the Sabat, he gets whacked, and the Camarilla owes us big time, back when they were running the show. We have Don Sebastian in our pocket. He was barely running this place. We could have had our run of the place. Of course, you and your friends went and blew the shit out of that, but, well, opportunities being what they are.
Adam,
Well, don't just sit there in silence, Carlo. What do you... Talk to me.
this person that you've trusted knew the whole time we didn't tell you anything.
I'm just processing things. I'm a slow at processing thing. You know how this thing is.
I'm slow, okay? It took me 16 years to ask.
Okay, Carlo. While you're processing,
Yeah, no.
let me add one more thing onto the pile. How many Martinos you ever met that have got fangs?
Me, myself, and I.
Yeah. How many are the Familia Giovanni? Alright? The Pisa Knobs, the Dunsons, but especially the Familia Giovanni, worked their whole life to get what you got right now. I tell you something. I got a cousin twice removed in Venice right now. Probably a better necromancer than you are. She ain't even a vampire yet. And she ain't got the kiss. You know why, Carlo? You know why? Because there's some people that work their entire lives to get what you got. Okay, yeah. You know what? You got fucked. It's true. It's 100% true. You were screwed. You were set up. You were the fall guy. And what'd you get out of it? You got something that the rest of the family would literally kill for. Has killed for. I knew a lady once
Carlo.
whacked her own mother for this and didn't get it. She wasn't worth it. Martinos almost never get this. But you got it. So, yeah, you got screwed. But who was always there helping you, Carlo? Who was there helping you get through? Because of this, because you got screwed, you got a chance at something the rest of the family will never see. Will die trying to achieve. You got a chance, Carlo. That's what you got.
Do you see it that way? After all the times you've been put into danger?
No,
After all those dicks you sucked?
No, I suck. I've struggled so much. Like I would have. Some people tell me, yeah. Just stay awake like this. Like stone face for now. I'll take the revenge later.
You suffered since your unlife, and he has the audacity to call it a gift.
Yeah.
How much dick have you sucked at?
Enough to make a whole chronicle out
Okay,
of
no. Here's the question. How much dick has this guy who caused you to suck? Because I feel like most of that was your own volition.
That's because I don't have any gas money, Chaz. Just kidding.
To sell his car for gas money.
This is the moment, Adam, where you turn to him and you're like, did all those people you just mentioned, did they suck dick?
That make you feel sorry for me.
I'm doing the Carlo Martino special.
Because I don't want to Carlo Martino to die yet. I was gonna thinking of just sucking him, vampirizing him.
Do it, Adam. Mark Zantz will 100% help you take over that Giovanni mansion.
Yeah.
Now, while you're processing that, processing one more thing. What does Angelina want out of you for her to tell you this? Seems to me you need to figure out who you're gonna trust. Your cousin that comes out of the clear blue sky and just happens to drop this information on you. Or me, who, yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, I was part of this, I ain't gonna... But who helped you this whole time? Who gave you the ability to see ghosts in the first place? You came to me, you didn't know Stugats. They gave you the old Decapidocian one as a joke, Carlo. As a joke, they didn't expect you to survive a week. Who was there when you needed help? Who was there when you needed necromancy, when you needed hooker money?
I think you were just taking pity on me at the time.
No, Carlo, come on.
Was it the crane?
Was it the craze wanted me to stop crying in front of you?
Okay, yeah, a little bit, but
Yeah.
So I want you to know something, Carlo.
Yeah.
This conversation
Never happened.
never happened. I keep it between you and me. But you got a decision to make, my friend. You stick with me. Like I said, buddy, you already got a chance that most of the people in your family will never see. Your mother, God rest her soul. This was never gonna happen to her. This was never gonna happen to you. Or
it did.
you can be Angelina's puppet.
Break the bonds, Adam. No gods, no masters.
No.
Ruin the Giovanni just like Mark Zantz ruined the New York Ventru.
Don't be slave to incest.
Oh. I want to fucking Diablerie some, but let's go. Let's do it.
You're doing
I'm
it?
gonna roll my dice.
You're just gonna be like, ah! So it takes some time to
gonna-
process, and I've determined I'm angry.
I'm gonna like go in for a hug, and then just gnaw on his neck, go for the neck.
I love it.
Ah, I see Yusuf has also played Crusader Kings.
Okay, give me 1 second unless somebody in the chat can tell me what the roll is to resist Diablerie. Because I don't remember. I want to say it's like a diff 9 self-control. 239 to 295. Or 293 to 295.
Adams, Carlo Martino's done sucking dicks.
Da, 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 da.
This is gonna explode in your face.
I mean, maybe. Let's see what happens. Okay. The Diabler's player makes an extended strength roll, difficulty 9. Each success inflicts 1 automatic health level on the victim. Victim cannot soak, and damage is considered aggravated. When all the victim's health level has been drained, the victim's essence is taken into the attacker, and the emptied body begins decaying immediately.
Oh, I thought you had to drain their blood. Okay.
I mean, that's you get the blood back.
But yeah, but I thought like you had to drain their blood rather than their health levels. Okay.
Oh no, you do have to drain the blood too.
Drain both? Oh, shit. Alright, Carlo. Give him the suck. Spend all your willpower. Fuck it.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna have to, yeah.
Carlo Martino has a specialty in suck.
Adam, you just gotta be like, all that sucking dick was just practice.
This was the real thing, yeah.
Honestly,
Only
you
the
know what,
third of the
Yusuf?
big dick move.
This
It's
is
the
this
nerd
is the
rage.
kind of like defining character arc moment that could change all that.
That goes out. Carlo done sucking dick.
It's the nerd rage from being bullied all these years. Is the brunt of the Giovanni.
He has the power of God and anime on his side.
I feel the spaghetti sauce boiling inside me. Oh.
Does Ave Maria start to play?
It's close
So
enough.
or in game, like it takes you a while to process things, and like everything comes together, and you're just like, I'm mad.
Yeah. Like Hulk smash. Yeah, just
It's like that full circle rage where your personality doesn't shift at all, but you know you're pissed. It's like,
I just start crying and I just look on his shoulder and just do the bite. Like, haha, who's crying now?
Okay. Here's what I'm gonna ask you to do, Josh, so I don't have to get out my own dice. Give me self-control at a difficulty 9. 3 dice.
3 dice at a difficulty 9. I got a 5, a 9, and a 1.
Okay.
No.
So
Ooh.
actually, no, you're Giovanni. This shit fucking hurts.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have to roll strength with this guy. Now, I did actually at one point have Mauricio stat it out. And it's a good thing to note that all that effort just went completely the fuck to waste, because that fucking binder's over there somewhere. So.
Well, hopefully he doesn't survive this.
Adam, if he survives, you're not.
I know. That's why.
Yeah.
But
I hate that. I should be like, you know what? That was fair.
I'd have done the same.
That was a real Giovanni move right there, cousin. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, 591. So the 1 got rid of the 9, and he failed. All right.
Pain without love.
I was really hoping you weren't going to do it.
Can't get enough.
Okay.
I couldn't resist, Tom.
It's,
Mario for this.
extended strength rolls. Difficulty 9. Give me your strength, Carlo. Also, be ready to spend willpower and blood if you want that extra boost.
Yeah,
Do it, Carlo. You can just suck the blood right back.
Is your strength?
Yeah.
And
I imagine.
And potence counts. I have 1 dot in potence.
Potence
Imagine
counts.
when you get bit by Giovanni, you make various Tom and Jerry sounds when they get hurt.
No, it's difficulty 9 now.
Yes, sir.
Except those, you only think of the one.
How much?
I got 1 on the die, and then there's the willpower.
Okay. Do me a favor. One more thing, Josh. Roll me 1d10. Just tell me what comes up.
9.
Okay. You're able to pull 3 blood points out of him. Give me another roll.
That's right, Adam. You did get the drop on him. You'd be like, ah! He was like, ah!
Yeah. Willpower again.
I've gone to bed for 2 minutes.
You know what?
This is way.
You know what? I got a better idea. Fuck the roll. This
You're
is
just gonna let him do it?
this is what fucking story shit is made out of. This is a huge turning point for Carlo, all right? And you know what? You're lucky I'm one of those like fucking storytelling fops that will always say the story is better than the mechanics, because now you're not getting away scot-free. Okay, let's see.
I'm pretty sure the 15 minutes were for something, but we'll find out after.
The contest of souls. Ooh.
You're on humanity, right?
Yes, I think so. Yes.
For some reason, the Giovanni don't consider incest a sin.
It's nature at its finest. No.
Okay.
Severe takes of Carlo.
That would be fun.
There's some kind of Pavarotti playing as this has happened.
All right, give me a conscience roll at a difficulty 8. And we have agreed that our 10's eating one's house rule does not apply to degeneration, because that got Murphy Fiero out of way too much shit.
So then
Yeah,
it
I'm fine
was
with
conscience.
Huh?
It was just conscience.
Yeah.
Well, I only get 2 dice, so let's see what happens. A 6 and a 2.
A 6 and a 2, so it's not a botch.
Yeah.
Good evening, Vasil. Who wrote the haiku? Tom did. But I believe it was Josh who suggested refrigerator.
Oh, which haiku you just kidding now?
If you're talking about the one in the Discord, that was all Adam. The one he posted.
Yeah.
It's not a haiku. Had too many syllables.
I changed.
Oh, he fixed it.
Yeah. I edited it. I still got 100 of that paper. That's all that matters to me.
Okay. Upon successful completion of Diablerie, the Diablerist is overwhelmed by euphoria, and a self-control instinct roll is necessary. 10 minus the character's humanity or path rating to avoid losing control. The sensation is akin to orgasm, but much more powerful.
Nut. All right, Adam. Bloody nut all over the inside of this car. And what
you
the
still
fuck
have
is the
driver
driver
to deal
doing?
with after this.
Driver's fucking professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went in
Driver's
for
like,
a hug.
"I was told it."
Nothing untoward at first, and then the Diablerie is happening. So he's going to have to deal with this in a little bit. But at the moment, probably not really certain.
So the suck is complete.
Yeah. The suck is complete. You've lost a point of humanity. He diablerized his cousin. Mauricio Giovanni is no more. You may raise your generation by 1.
Poor Vasil has no idea what happened.
And I no longer owe him a favor.
Mauricio?
Yeah. It was like last season or something, yeah. One of our hitmen.
And you may add a Path of Necromancy. The first dot of a Path of Necromancy to your arsenal.
Adam pulled that renegade trigger.
But no.
As ooh, we froze. That's not good. Can you guys hear me?
I in the backseat all the time.
Okay.
Drive for the Giovanni.
Can it, like, did he have all his rings on his fingers?
You absolute bastard. Yes, he did.
Yeah, what?
His rings on.
The ghost rings?
Oh!
Taking his bling, dude.
So,
Yo, get his drip.
Keep
Oh,
what you kill.
man.
so we're gonna have
Adam's
to sort.
become the Giovanni Mandarin.
So we're gonna sort this all out next time. I think I'm gonna call it there. Pretty solid session, especially for Carlo. I'm gonna give 3 XP to everybody. Significance of the rings: they're fetters. They're ghost fetters, which means he gets control of a whole shitload of ghosts.
Going ghost.
All right, you guys know how this works. What the fuck is happening? I think my connection is hiccuping.
On my end.
Yeah, we freeze every couple of seconds. Okay, now before we really get into this, I was in a hurry to end the session last time, and I forgot to award the YouTube vote, so some people were wondering if I was still doing it. The answer is yes. And I think I owe you guys episode 3 and episode 4 at this point.
Just give everyone 20 XP.
Yeah, just fuck it, you know. Yeah, I gotta give it to Carlo. I was gonna give it to Xanth, but then Carlo pulled that renegade trigger hard.
Okay, so hang on.
Adam, good stuff.
Mazzy votes for Adam. 1 vote for Adam.
We're gonna give it to Adam. We already know that.
Yeah, I don't think...
Aha! You knew it was gonna be me last time though, and it wasn't.
Tom
Could
got
be wrong, Xavier. Also, thank you.
Let's see. Yusuf votes for Adam. Executioner votes for Adam. Vasil votes for Tom for the haiku.
I think Tao Quinn also earlier voted for Xavier, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think. Okay.
I mean, he could still change his vote. Oh, okay.
Von Morrison votes for Adam for taking his bait, growing up hair, and being awesome, actually. He tried to get Tao to purge ban you.
Talquin, you literally had the fucking Simpsons meme of Ralph. I'm in danger.
Okay. So, for episode 3, the viewer vote goes 1 for Tom for negotiating with a huge anti-gun tank from Bevil77. Anansi did not vote, I don't think, but he did say that Byrek has medicine. It's just made of lead and exits the application apparatus at a few hundred to a few thousand feet per second.
It's the cure for stupid.
James Laframboise votes for Xavier, King of the Hobos. And Christina Buchanan votes for Josh for all of the negotiations. Which...
Somebody has to do them.
Unfortunately, that is a tie. Vote goes nowhere.
Yay.
For episode 4, the votes. Vortigern Silverwood votes for Carlo Martino for moving his plot forward. Bevil77 votes for Josh because he bought an entire Sears just for a supply drop for some homeless people.
Bucket.
And Christina Buchanan votes for Josh for buying the Sears and fixing everything. The rotisserie phone made her laugh out loud, though, and her niece looked at her like she'd lost her mind.
All right, the rotisserie phone.
Josh, you win the vote for episode 4. Okay.
I don't have to negotiate to get bonus XP. I just have to buy things frivolously.
Xavier, you were voting for Adam as well?
Yes.
Tom, where's your vote going?
I mean, I have to give it to Adam for actually pulling the trigger and doing the suck, not the normal kind of suck.
The good suck.
Where I'm actually going to give him XP for sucking this time, rather than people fucking giving him XP for not sucking.
Wow.
Which should not be a thing.
It seems like Adam's not the only one who's advanced his character arc tonight. Josh, where's your vote going?
It's going to Adam. Adam had a good character. He had his Godfather Italian aria by Vivaldi moment.
Adam, seriously, you did a good tonight, my man.
Yeah. You're just like, I betrayed you, and you're just like, cool. Okay, well, it took you a little while. You're just like, hold on.
I like to imagine
Betrayal.
Carlo was like just on the verge of crying.
He's like,
The driver was eating an orange while, waiting around.
Well, I like to imagine the whole time he was just eating like a muffaletta or something like that, and it just spilled on his shirt or something. He's like, oh shit. As the whole time as Adams is digging into his...
No, it's gotta be an orange. Orange indicates someone's gonna die in the scene.
Could you imagine the foot where he shows just like, driver go, and he's just like, okay, sure thing, boss, let me just peel this orange. He's just like, no.
All right, Adam, I'm not sure it matters, but where's your vote going?
Adam, are you gonna vote for yourself? Are you gonna pull the renegade trigger twice?
Be the anonymous decision. It's...
Adam!
Yeah, I was hoping Josh, or actually for X for not killing me last time. They'll let me do this.
Wait, hang on. You can't look at something they did last session. Shit.
We can vote for whatever we want, any conditions we want.
I did say for any reason. I've accepted votes for dumber stuff.
Because I didn't kill Adam last time, he got to do it this time.
Ref.
Okay. I probably should hurry and end the session because my connection seems like it's about to crap the bed. So, you wonderful, beautiful people, thank you for being here. If you're watching, listening, like, follow, subscribe, whatever it is that you want to do that. You should definitely join us on the Discord. It's a great time. We've got a great community. We've got meme dumps. We've got a writing group for the people. And we really do need more people for that writing group if you're interested, because it doesn't get as much love as it should. Anyway, yeah. I hope you guys had fun tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I enjoyed it. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Stay caffeinated so you don't fall asleep like I do.